Dr. Garg is an Health, Safety and Environment Advisor for GAIL India Limited, Co-Chairman of ICCI Committee on Disaster Management, Board of Governor of National Safety Council Mumbai, President of Indian Society of HSC Professionals. Dr. Garg is well versed in health, safety and environment issues. He did his doctorate in safety management and now is giving an insight to his vast knowledge and experience in his book, How to Set Up a Safety Management System in 91 Days, a safety management handbook for MSMEs and CGDs. Now I will welcome Dr. Garg to speak. Tell us about yourself. Tell us something about yourself, sir.
Yeah, you have very nicely given my introduction.
Thank you.
Still, I am basically a fire protection and safety engineer, having worked in oil and gas sector for a large part of my career. In fact, in upstream, downstream companies, and I have spent about 36 years in various companies. And large part of it, as I mentioned, was with GAIL India Limited, where I spent about 30 years. And in 2020, I superannuated as Executive Director from GAIL India Limited. And now I have been engaged by them as an advisor HSC. So I am still with them. So this is the professional introduction. I love giving the participating in various seminars and conferences, presenting papers, moderating these sessions.
Okay.
And it's always pleasure to interact with the audience, especially the youngsters. So these are the areas I wanted to share.
All right. Tell us about your book, your new book. What is it all about, and what exactly is major part of this book, and how is it helping others?
Yeah. The book, as you have mentioned, the title is How to Set Up Safety Management System in 91 Days. See, let me go to background of writing this book. In fact, since, as I mentioned, the large part of career, I have been in oil and gas sector. And besides that, I have been interacting with a lot of other industries also at different parts of the country. So I have seen that even though the organizations like GAIL India, Oil India, and large organizations, Coal India, and whatever you name, they all have good safety management system. They have structured safety processes through which they take control of the safety and the risk. But the smaller organizations, which we call it MSMEs, and in particular in the oil and gas sector, we have seen the CGDs, city gas distribution companies. Mm-hmm. These companies and the MSMEs, they do not have, but majority of them do not have a structured safety management system. As a result, any event happens, any unfortunate event happens, any disaster strikes to them, they get completely lost. The entire organization becomes vulnerable. Sometimes they are completely handicapped, they are completely ruined, entire business gets ruined. So it's very difficult for them to sustain the business without having the safety management system. That is how this thought came, that why not write a good handbook which should be handy for these type of industries, MSMEs and CGDs, especially focusing on them and writing in a very simple way how to introduce safety management system in their companies in a very short time of about 3 months. Without incurring a huge investment as well. So that was the idea of writing this book. Now, this book, in very simple steps, is that there are 9 steps which we have narrated in the book, through which one can set up a safety management system in the organization. And against each step, we have given tentative days. How many days this activity would require. For example, writing a safety policy, that is the first step. It would take about 7 days time to write safety policy, interact with the right internal stakeholders, and then write a safety policy and get it approved. So similarly, we go to the next step, like writing safety management system in detail, writing SOPs. So each activity, step by step, we have narrated there. And we have also mentioned how many days we feel would be required for this activity. So put together, in about roughly 90 days, 91 days, one can easily install a safety management system in such organizations, having roughly about 12 safety management system elements.
Okay, so when did you first realize that you wanted to write? Like you will write book. Did you ever think that you would be an author of a book? And was this a difficult journey?
Yes, I was always dreaming to write the book. Various reports in the professional journey, we keep on writing, we keep on producing various reports, and they are not that kind of book, but okay, in a form of a booklet only. So this point was already there, this thought was already there in my mind that whenever time permits, I will like to write a book wherein I can contribute something to the industry. So this was my pet area of safety management system. And when I discussed with other two colleagues who were interacting with me on various other subjects, then we all decided, let us write a book on this subject. And that would be because there is a large gap in this area. There are hardly any guidelines, hardly any made easy books which are available for MSMEs and CGDs.
So this is like a guideline. This is like a guidebook for them to know how to handle these issues.
Absolutely. In fact, if you talk about the MSMEs today in India, we have 6.34 crore MSMEs. Crores. Earlier, I thought it was in lakhs, but it is in crores. So it's a huge number. Then the another area which is very close, because oil and gas sector, it is very part of oil and gas sector. That is CGD, City Gas Distribution. In India, there are hundreds of CGD companies, and this area is growing very fast. Today, in energy mix, you have about 6.3% the share of the natural gas, but it is going to rise to 15% by 2030. And there is a huge investment coming up. In fact, I was going through a data of 2019-20. I saw that about 806 million US dollars were invested by the FDIs in this area. And if you look at our own investment, within the last 3-4 years, in 2018, about 70,000 crore investment was committed. And in 2019 March, another 50,000 crore was committed. So almost 1.2 lakh crore investment is happening in this area. And it is growing at a very fast speed. Today, you have roughly about 2,300 CNG stations. In 5 years' time, they are growing to go to about 10,000 CNG stations.
True.
Similar way, the gas which comes to your house, which we call it PNG.
Yeah.
PNG connections, if you look at today, there are about 62.5 lakhs PNG connections all over the country. This number is going to grow to a huge number of about 5 crores connections within 4 to 5 years' time. These numbers are given by none other than the petroleum minister. So there is a huge scope. At the same time, if you increase, if you rise at such a rapid race, the risks also go up. So it is necessary that right from the beginning, the good safety management system is established in these organizations. Then only they can control the hazards, risk, and the business can grow.
So this is mainly, and now with the environment also getting more pressure, like there are people out there who are all more aware of the environmental issues and guideline risks that come with it, especially like with big organizations. They are liable to certain even if they have risk, the profit margin is larger, but for small industries, if there is a higher risk, the loss of property is more as well. So I hope this book is successful. I congratulate you for writing this book. I would like to know, how long did it take for you to write this book, to make this handbook with all the facts that it has?
Okay. Yeah, generally it should take about 6 months to 1 year time to write a book, but especially because of this pandemic, during first wave of pandemic, and now we are into second wave of pandemic, it took us a little longer time. It took us more than a year for writing this. So it's okay.
So what do you do apart from writing? When you're not writing, what do you do? When you're not working?
Yeah, of course, there are other kind of habits. You spend time with the family. I used to be a good lawn tennis player in my working days, working time, and
Can that still happen
we
with the pandemic?
no, not nowadays. It's not happening. So it has been replaced by some kind of exercises and yoga, fast walk, and all those things are happening these days. And of course, I love reading and writing. So that is how you pass the time.
True, very true. So, would you like to, as an end note, would you like to tell your readers something?
Yeah, I will like to tell the readers, especially all the MSME and all the CGD players, that they must follow the guidelines which are there. And in this particular book, we have made it is a made easy kind of thing. In the schools and colleges, we used to go through those booklets which you easily can grasp, easy processes.
True.
So this is that kind of effort wherein we have tried to give you a ready-made solution to introduce the safety management system, and it is not going to cost you anything. Just go through this book, and if you have any difficulty, come back to us. Otherwise, you will not find any difficulty, and depending on the type of business you have, you can alter the number of days which are suggested in the book. You can make it 10 days, 15 days instead of 7 days recommended. That depends, that flexibility you have. But at the end of the day, if you establish this safety management system in 3 months' time, 3 to 6 months' time at the most, then you will find that you are comfortably running your business. For business sustainability, it is a must that you must have a good safety management system, which will in the long run will also be helpful for you to create a good safety culture in the organization. And once you create a good safety culture in the organization, you will find that automatically the incidents, accidents rates come down, and everybody becomes sensitive to the safety requirements, and the entire organization gives a highest productivity possible, and the business sustainability is ensured. So that is why my request would be to kindly go through this.
Thank you so much, Mr. Garg. It was a pleasure to have you here, and for this conversation, for this small interview. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.